Welcome to the Fill Your Cups podcast. We're your hosts,
Morgan
and Bailey, and this is a bonus book club episode.
Yeah, we want to fill you guys in. Book club is something that fills our cups every month, and we've been doing it for more than a year now.
I know, that's so exciting.
It's so fun. We had our 1 year in May, so really big deal. So usually the way that our book club works is we pick a book at the previous book club month. So at June's book club, we picked a book to read during the course of June, and then we met in July to discuss it. So the book that we read for July's book club was Everybody on This Train is a Suspect, right?
Yep, I think by Benjamin Stevenson.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That was his name?
Maybe it's Stevenson. Could be. Yeah. I don't know. You can look it up. But it just a heads up that a lot of us thought this was a sequel because it is his second book technically in a series, but he even says this at the beginning of this book that you don't have to have read the first one, and in fact I don't think anybody in our book club did.
No one did.
And to understand the second one. So it was really it wasn't something that you had to do. So, yeah, we just met this last weekend.
Yes, we did. I kind of want to start off with how we kind of do book club, because a lot of people will ask me, well, who chooses, or, where do you guys decide to meet, and blah, blah, blah. We have been alternating. So when we very first started the book club, that first meeting that everyone had, there was already a book that was chosen, I think by you or Julia.
Honestly, the way that I chose it was someone else in our book club who reads a lot and I knew wanted to go to book club with me. I just basically asked her what she hadn't read because she reads so much, and I was like, is there anything you haven't read? And Daisy Jones and the Six was the one that she was like, I've been wanting to read this and I haven't read it yet. So
yes, which was a great choice. That was actually the first book club that I had to miss because we were, I don't know, on vacation somewhere. So I didn't get to go to that one, but I did read the book because of book club because I was so excited for it.
It was so good.
But since that first meeting, it's just been that afterwards we say, hey, who wants to do next month? And then someone volunteers and they say, I'll do next month. And then within that same day, they let us know what book we're going to be reading. We put it in our Facebook group chat and we decide the day that works best for the majority of everyone. Yeah. So we do the date that most people can go to. And we've just been doing that since the beginning. I feel like couple months ago, maybe 2 or 3, we're maybe we should get some structure and add in a schedule of whose month it's gonna be. Yeah. Kind of, we started doing that?
Yeah, we kind of started doing it, although we're holding our expectations very loosely.
Yes.
I think we did say, okay, let's try to do the first Wednesday of each month if we can, but obviously we'll kind of adjust if needed. Yeah. If 8 people can't go, we're not going to do the first Wednesday of the month. That happened last month with the Noah Kahan concert.
Yeah.
Half of our book club was going, I felt like. So we were like, okay, we can't do that Wednesday, obviously. But, yeah, so we added some structure in. But, yeah, mostly, honestly, for people that are listening and have been I really want to join a book club. I really want to join a book club. That was me, and you should just start your freaking own. Yeah. Because I did that, and I literally just, texted anybody that I thought might be interested, people that I knew liked books, or people that I thought might like me. Yeah.
You're like, these are my friends.
Yeah, I was like, hey, friends, I'm starting a book club. And I think we had 6 people at our first one, and now we've got a pretty solid, 15 or something like that. So it's really grown, and it's a super fun thing. So we try to aim for a happy hour time frame, after work kind of time, 5:30, so that we can meet somewhere, either at someone's house if they are able to host, and have some drinks and snacks. Usually I bring
always
some charcuterie.
Morgan always has a good charcuterie board.
Yeah, I love making those. Or a brewery or somewhere where they've got a lot of seating accommodated for us. And we've had some really fun places we've gone. And then usually we'll get a snack or a drink there, or both, So, yeah, that's kind of our setup. I'm glad that you pointed that out.
Yeah, I just know I had people ask me about that before. I think one of my favorite parts about book club and why we really wanted to do an episode like this was because it's hard to find a book club. You never really, how do you find a book club? I don't really know, because you invited me to your book club. So that's how I found that book club. Yeah. But if you're not being invited or you don't know somebody, I want this to be a space that it's like a virtual book club with us. Like,
yeah, you can participate.
You can read the book with us. You can follow along with us. You can listen to the episode. Tell us your thoughts on it. I think that just sounds really fun, especially for the people who maybe don't love being around a lot of people but still want that kind of social aspect. I think that's a little virtual book club is fun.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, well, let's dive right into the book then.
Yeah.
If you have not read this book, just a heads up that there will be spoilers. So if you want to read it, pause it, read the book, come back then. If you don't care, join along. If you have read it, join along, give us your thoughts. But dive right in. What'd you think of the book?
Yeah, I really, really liked it. Yes. I will say the first 30 or 40 pages I think were kind of slow, which kind of sucks because especially if you're not a reader, I know that would kind of turn me off from a book. And when I first got back into reading, that would have been a hard pass.
Oh, for sure. I would have been like, there's way too many names in this book. I can't keep up.
There are a lot of characters, for sure. And they all have interesting names.
Oh, my God. I know. Except that I hate books that sometimes the names are so similar. I'm like, wait, what? Why is this person going by Majors and then this person's, name is, I don't know. Martha.
I did mix up, for some reason in my head, S.J. Majors and Simone, his, publicist.
Yeah.
Or not publicist.
It was his publicist.
Okay, yeah.
Or his agent or whatever.
Something like that, yeah. For some reason, those were, the same person to me for the longest time. And I kept having to remind myself, this is not the same character.
I feel like I didn't even know that S.F. Majors was the character for the longest times. And then I was like, wait. This is its own separate character.
Yeah. So
I would have been really turned off at the beginning too.
Yeah, it was really, it was a lot at the beginning. So but once I got past that, I did really think it was really cute, really clever. It was a lot of people in our book club use the word meta. He was being very meta, where it was the story within the story. And he did reference his previous book a little bit to make it seem interesting, I think. But it was just really, it was cute, it was clever. I did not guess the killer and our murderer, and so I really liked it. What do you think?
Yeah, I liked it too. It wasn't my favorite book I've ever read, but I thought it was fine, I guess. It was a fine book. I liked it. I had fun reading it, and those were pretty much my thoughts. I feel like I had no critical things about the book, just besides that sometimes the storyline was hard to follow, but I only feel like that's because of so many characters. And I feel like that can happen anytime there's a big murder mystery and you're who did it? Those can be so hard to follow because that's so many people that you're trying to keep track of. So I think that was something for me that I was okay, I know I'm not going to be able to figure out who did it.
I was going to ask, did you feel like you could guess?
Not at all. I didn't even know, because I feel like at the end, whenever he was going into the big reveal, he had a reason that everyone could have done it, and I was I had thought of none of those reasons.
Some of the reasons were pretty weak, I thought.
They were. I was what? Even the main killer, or the killer, that reason was so weak. I was what? Doesn't it make more sense for the, sorry guys, maybe trigger warning, I don't know, but doesn't it make more sense for the girl that the dead person, I don't even remember his name, raped to kill
Henry
him
McTavish,
instead of this wife who's just trying to make her husband proud? What?
Yeah, I'm with you on that for
kinda
sure.
Weird. But I didn't really care. Still thought it was a fun read. I really feel when I read books, I really associate them with the weather.
What?
So what I'm saying is I feel like I was reading this book and I was this is a great summer book. And it will just always feel like a summer book to me now. I'll think about that book and I'll think of wow, what a great summer read.
Did you read it out on your deck?
Yes. I think that's the thing. I was listening to it while I did lawn work too.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's a big thing. So I wonder if I would have read it in the fall or something, if I would have been this was an amazing fall book.
Interesting.
But in my head, it was a great summer read, and I think that's why I really liked it. I think it was a great summer read to me because it was upbeat. And it was, which is funny because it was a murder mystery. But it was upbeat and funny.
It was quirky. Oh,
very
campy
quirky
is the word that one of the people in our book club, the other Morgan, uses when she talks about books like this. Campy, when they're kind of quirky, or I don't know. Yeah, maybe book readers, you'll know this. Bailey's opening her.
Sorry, that was really hard to open.
We didn't say what we were drinking.
Ah, crap. Well, what are you drinking?
I have a ginger ale Zevia in my wine glass over here.
Delicious. You can put anything in a wine glass.
Yeah.
I'm drinking a vanilla cola Zevia, which is one of yours. Thanks for giving it to me.
You're welcome. I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so campy. Yeah, I felt like it was really goofy. And I don't read a lot of murder mysteries. Do you?
Yeah, I would say that I do. I don't
If you were to give it
know.
a number, like, do you feel like this is like your 10th, 20th?
Yeah, probably like my 15th.
Okay.
It's right in between.
21.
20 seems like too much and 10 seems like not enough. So probably like my 15th. Because
Okay.
I really go thriller, but I feel like sometimes thriller and like murder mysteries can mix in together.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like I've definitely read a lot of
I guess like who done it.
Yeah.
That
whodunits.
Yeah, that kind. This was my first whodunit.
I love that.
Yeah,
I think that's so fun.
I genuinely have not read a book like Clue or like, you know what I mean, like one of those shows. Or we talked a bit about like the Glass Onion and like Knives Out. Like I love TV shows and movies like that, but I truly can't think of a book that I've read like that. There have been books that I've had where there has been like a killer or something, but they've definitely been more like thrillers or kind of psychological.
And
or
you're
something
more
like
like
that.
what's going on instead of who did it.
Yeah, you're not trying to think who did it. You're like, what the fuck is happening, you know? So I feel like it's just a very different vibe.
Yes.
But this one, I guess maybe is a little more silly on the spectrum of murder mysteries or like whodunits.
Definitely. Way more silly. It really reminded me of Glass Onion.
Oh, yeah.
So I loved that because I don't know, I feel like the cast could have so easily been transferred from the same cast in Glass Onion.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really fun.
I liked Knives Out better than Glass Onion. I don't remember Glass Onion quite as well, but I do think like they have a lot of the very specific characters. Like there's like always like the rich person or there's the, you know, they all have very specific like roles that they play.
Yep.
Yeah. So I liked that about this book. I thought it was really cute and I could definitely see myself reading more of them. I would read his first book now.
I kind of want to as well, but my want to read is like stacked right now, so I'm like, is that too much for me? I don't know. But I kind of want to too. And it was funny because in the beginning of this book, it is the second in the series, like Morgan was saying, but he talks about his first book, like kind of elusively.
A couple times,
and he says like, my editor says that it's always best to include parts from your first book without being too specific, so it makes your reader want to read your first book.
Right.
And I thought that was so funny because I was like, oh my gosh, because
it worked on me.
yeah, it did. I was like, I do want to read this first book. And I actually think that the plot of the first book sounds way more interesting and easier to follow because it's in a house and not on a train.
Yeah, it does sound really interesting. Yeah, there are some train like terms that I wasn't super familiar with.
No.
That were a little bit jargony and kind of hard to catch. But
yeah. What do you think of the action scenes? We didn't talk about this at book club,
I
think.
really liked them.
Really?
I thought that they gave me like Lemony Snicket vibes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So for me, I think I said this in book club, but I am not. Some people seem to be really good at taking like reading a book and then visualizing it.
Yeah.
And I'm not typically like that when I read books. I don't think I'm that visual of a learner or reader or whatever. I've never been that great with spatial reasoning. Honestly, like I was really good at math until it became like spheres and like stuff like that you had to imagine. But yeah, so I'm not a very visual reader, but when I was reading this book, I felt like I could see every scene.
Oh, fun.
And that's why they gave me like Lemony Snicket vibes. Like there was the scene where he was like on top of the car, like behind the train, and she's like driving and he's trying to like get up close to the train and whatever, and then he takes a phone call while he's on the car and you're like, come on, you're on the hood of a car.
Yeah.
You know,
but it was just so comical in
just
that way.
so goofy. Yeah. But I felt like I could see the whole thing in my head.
Yeah.
And when the train stopped and he's like hanging on and he's like, oh, we're not moving anymore, and then he like comes off, like I felt like I could just like see him. So I felt like I liked the action scenes. What'd you think?
I like that a lot of your point of view from it, because for me, I don't feel like action scenes do it for me, and that's in any
genre.
anything.
Okay.
In anything, I don't. in movies even. Like, that's why I don't really care about Marvel movies or anything, because I'm like, oh my God.
Interesting.
Like, you're fighting again. That's crazy. And so, yeah, they don't really ever do it for me.
More original.
Literally. But these ones were fun. I felt like, I was like, what is going on? So for me, the action scenes felt very goofy. Yeah. And they didn't really feel like actually high stakes or anything. But I did like the first action scene. They were like in a chase out kind of, or what do you call that? A chase out? You know, whenever you're like running from someone? Like if you're running from the cops, what do you call that?
Oh, like a car chase?
Okay, yeah, but on foot.
I don't know.
This always happens to us.
Yeah, it does.
When I'm like, wait, what's it called?
I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
I think I just make up words.
But yeah, wait, I don't know what part of the book you're talking about.
Whenever he starts chasing Lisa, she like tried to hotwire the car.
Okay.
And then, which I thought was funny. I was like, wait, what's going on? She's hot wiring a car? What?
The police car.
Yeah, which okay, yeah. So I thought that action scene was kind of fun, and then all of a sudden they're like on top of, what were they even on top of?
When he was going to the train?
No, not whenever he was going to the train. Whenever he was chasing Lisa, and they had ran into, and he like almost fell off of something.
Yeah, no, it was that land that has like tons of holes in it.
Okay, so it wasn't like a big building.
No.
It was literally like they were on the edge of a cliff.
Kind of, yeah. Like, I pictured I pictured like the landscape of holes. The movie. Oh. Like there were a bunch of holes. And and it was kind of dark, so he like couldn't see when he was approaching one. So he had to be really careful. It's a specific place, like a specific location that actually exists.
Yeah, everyone was talking about it in book club. It was like a funny joke. We didn't get it. I don't know what it was called.
Remember when we said that neither of us were excelling that much at geography? We're working on it. But anyway, it's a real place. You guys probably know it if you're, like, better at geography than us. But, yeah, it's some famous place that is littered with, like, all these holes because
it's like a mining.
People dug, into, like, the mines or something. Yeah. I don't know.
To hunt opals.
Yeah, opal hunting.
Opal hunting.
Yeah.
Someone was definitely talking about that. Guys, if you're in our book club, remind us what this place is called. Because we don't know what it's called. We didn't listen on that.
I know. We need we should have brought our books.
We should have.
And had them in front of us.
Yeah, we also should have taken notes.
Yeah.
I feel like we're recalling everything, though.
Yeah.
I liked it. Let's see. What were some of the main thoughts that people had? I feel like there was a difference between, so like you said, it was a story within a story.
Mm-hmm. Some people thought that was a little much.
And it was kind of hard to follow.
Yeah.
And so the narrator, like, you know, breaks the fourth wall.
Yes.
And I feel like some people really like that, and some people really did not like that.
Yeah, and I think that some people, like we keep saying it's kind of goofy, comical. Like, I liked the author's sense of humor, but I think some people were kind of turned off by it.
Yeah.
Like, he probably thinks he's the funniest person on earth. And honestly, I agree with them that he probably does think that. Yeah. But I'm like, he is funny. So, I mean, he's not the funniest person on earth, so I'll give that to him. You know, I think he's a comedian.
I think so, too. Stand-up comedian was his, like, original job, and then he started to write books.
Yeah. So some people didn't like that. So if you have a particular sense of humor, then it might not be your something that you jive with, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like that was one thing. Another thing that some people said was because it is so campy, I guess, and like some of those goofy action scenes and things like that. Some people who read it physically said that they may have liked it better audiobook.
Oh, yeah.
And you said you did like probably like 75% audiobook?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. I usually switch it up just based on how I'm feeling.
Yeah, because I guess Kindle, it's pretty easy to go back and forth between audiobook and regular, right? Written.
I actually don't know. I've never tried to listen to an audiobook on your Kindle.
I thought that's what you were doing.
No, I didn't even know. I don't even know if you can do that. I listen to audiobooks.
How do you switch back and forth then?
Like I physically switch back and forth. So if I'm feeling like if I'm like at work or something and I'm like I want to listen to this but I have to do this busy work or whatever, or I want to read my book but I have to do this busy work, I'll like listen to it through Spotify or Libby, or like if I rented it as an audiobook through the library, and I'll like listen to that. And then if I'm like before bed or I want to read outside, then I also have a physical copy or it's on my Kindle.
How do you find your spot?
I don't know. If I'm like, I just cross-reference.
I thought, for some reason, someone said, like, Kindle, like, saves where you are so you can easily switch back and forth between, like, audio and regular.
I mean, the Kindle will tell you what page you're on or, like, what chapter you're on. And then with the audiobook, I just go and find whatever chapter I'm on.
Does it tell you your percentage on Kindle?
Yes.
Okay, maybe that makes it easier.
I'm
not sure. I must be recollecting incorrectly.
Or you could be recollecting correctly, and I just didn't know that. I just didn't know you could listen to it on Kindle.
Well, anyway, so you listened to a lot of it.
Yes, listened to a lot of it. I definitely liked really listening to it because he had a really good accent. So that was fun. I do feel like if I would have been reading it, it would have done nothing for me. I do feel like sometimes listening to it can feel like a show or a movie.
That makes sense.
And it can be really fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this was a good one.
Well, I physically read it, and I really, really liked it. But that was just something that some people said.
Yeah.
About the potential of liking it more as an audiobook.
Yeah. I always love that after book club when we always ask, like, okay, who read it versus who audiobooked it?
Yeah.
And I always feel like there's, like, one or two people who were like, I feel like I would have enjoyed it more had I done the opposite of whatever one I did. And I always think that's kind of funny.
A lot of people said that with Daisy Jones and the Six because apparently it's, like, a really, really well-rated audiobook.
That's what I've heard.
And most of us physically read it. But yeah, that's what I've heard anyway. But yeah, we always ask that, and then we also always ask how everyone rated it. So if you're not on Goodreads, then get Goodreads. Bailey and I are both on there. You can add us.
Yes, go add us.
Yeah. I actually don't even know what my name is probably Morgan Jane Welch on there. I'm not
Mine's
sure.
probably Bailey Tozek.
But yeah. So we always ask how they would rate it out of 5 stars because that's how Goodreads rates things.
Yes.
So I feel like the average rating was probably like 3.
Yeah, 3 to 3.5.
A lot of people gave it a 3.5. I feel like, which you can't do on Goodreads.
But you can do in book club.
But you can do in book club. And you can always put, like, in the comments or in your review on Goodreads would really be a 3.5, whatever. Yeah. I know some people do that. But yeah, so I rated it a 4.
Yes.
Which is, I'm a pretty easy rater a lot of the time. I have a lot of 3s, 4s. Some 5s, but I probably give out 5s easier than other people.
Yeah.
But so just an idea of how I rate things. But I did really, really like it. It took me like 2.5 days to read.
It was definitely quick.
I read it in just a couple sittings. So I really liked that. And overall, besides kind of the slower, clunkier start, I didn't think that I would like it that much when I started it, but then I was like, wow, I'm really pleasantly surprised. And like I said, it was my first whodunit, so I was kind of like, wow, this is a really fun genre that I don't really know that much about. So I rated it a 4.
A 4. I rated it a 3.5. But I had said that if I was going to give it a rating on Goodreads, I would give it a 3. So I would round down. And just because it was just one that I enjoyed. I liked it. There was nothing super special to me about it. There was nothing, like, I don't feel like this will be a book I remember for a long time. If it is, maybe I'll bump it up. Yeah, it was just average. It was fun. It was a good read, and I felt happy that I read it, and I was like, nah, that's fine. Yeah. It's good enough for me. That's why I ended up rating it. But I wanted to say something about how this is your first genre of that you've read of this. That is one of my other favorite things about book club is you read things that you would have never read before. Yeah. And it makes it so fun.
Yeah, so I don't know if we said this, but then whoever hosts the next month also picks the book for that month. Did we say that? I can't remember. But yeah, so we've read like historical fiction, we've read memoirs, we've read thrillers, we've read
spicy romance.
Yeah, some smut up in there.
We've read like a fantasy.
Yeah, we read like a fantasy. Yeah. We've read all sorts, and now we've read a murder mystery. You know,
yeah, we've done like everything.
Yeah, I really, really love what we've like kind of opened our eyes to some different genres. Yeah, because there are definitely things that I wouldn't have read if I hadn't been in book club. Like I never would have picked up or thought to pick up.
Yeah, no, same for me, and I like that. I feel like you get to know the host a little bit more, and you get to see what they like reading. Yeah. And I always think that that's such a fun thing to be able to do.
I agree. Yeah. The other cool thing about this book for this particular month was that everybody that was at book club read it.
Yeah.
Because we always are, but we're very kind to each other, and we're always like, if you didn't finish the book, no big deal. We still want you there.
Yep.
So please don't feel like you can't come just because you didn't finish the book or you started. But this month, and I feel like every single book club, someone who is present,
Yep.
DNF'd it.
Or didn't read it.
Did not finish it, or didn't start it, just chose not to read it, whatever. Usually there's like one, maybe two people like that, and this month there was literally nobody. So
I know.
I feel like that's a good sign of the book.
Me too.
Quick, easy read.
Yeah, I think it should. Yeah, that it's a quick, easy read, and so once you actually started it, it was pretty easy to kind of get into it and finish it, which is not always the case.
Yeah,
it was really fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Next month's book club, is The Women.
I've already started it.
It's by
so
Kristen
good.
Hanna.
Kristen Hanna. She's the best historical fiction writer.
I'm really
ever.
excited.
I love her so much. So
I'm really excited for this one because I think that you read The Nightingale.
The Nightingale.
Okay, I remember after you read that one, you were raving it up and down. And I was like, oh, I need to read this book, or like, I need to read something by her. But her books are huge, and those are very intimidating to me, so I don't ever pick those up. I never pick those ones up. So I'm really excited that is the next month's choice because it'll finally get me to pick it up and read it.
Yeah, it's a super popular Kristen Hanna right now. It's her newest one, and they are all like 400 to 500 pages, which honestly in book club, we try to stay around like 300 pages just because that seems more doable for the majority of us in 1 month.
Yeah.
But I do love her books. And like I started this one like 2 days ago and I'm 150 pages in.
Oh my gosh.
I love her writing so much.
So exciting.
It's sad though.
I know. Morgan was, other Morgan, was saying that you have to be in the right headspace for it. And I'm like, what is this book club conversation going to look like? Are we all going to be depressed?
It's definitely a war story, you know? So, and the Nightingale, the Nightingale, I was like, it can't be more depressing than the Nightingale because that's set in Paris when like Hitler is running things.
Oh, Lord.
So it's the perspective from a couple of people a couple of women sisters during that period, so it's really sad and really terrible.
Man,
but yeah, I'm excited for next month.
I'm excited too. This is gonna sound a little bit fucked up, but I never read books like that, so really? I'm kind of excited. Yeah, I
like
always
war books or historical fiction or what?
I think books that make you like sad.
Oh yeah,
I never read books like that because I always read either thrillers or I read fun, happy books like.
Maybe it's because you're an Enneagram 7.
Probably. I think that I like books that pick me up and keep me going. Yeah. Is what I think that a lot of times I crave in a book, which I don't even know that I do until I pick it up. But so I never pick books like this because I'm like, I don't want to like really go through this. Like I don't want it to feel like a fight. And sometimes I feel like books like that because it can be a little bit more boring because the thriller is such a page-turner. Yeah. Even though this one is so emotional. So I'm really excited to read it. Yeah. It'll be like probably my first one this year that's been like that.
Wow, yeah. I love that. Well, hopefully you all tune in for next month's book club. So, and if you're reading along, please let us know. We'd love to know. It's The Women, Kristen Hanna.
Yes, and we will post that for you guys. Hopefully you guys join us and we can have a little virtual book club together.
Yeah. Cheers!